And we're back. I shout out to all you guys here in the comments. 49ers throwback, as always. Tom Bragg, Hugh Olsen, Homie, Slick68. What's up, all of you? Most importantly, what's up with the other people sharing this platform with me? Jay, Steph, what's going on?
Steph, how are you? I just want to know that shirt that you wore with the newspaper of the Super Bowl championship.
Mm-hmm.
My first question to you is, why are you so drippy, and how do I get like that?
All right, I'm gonna give you guys a little secret. So I started searching for like these vintage 49er shirts. Like that's kind of my thing. I don't really do the memorabilia thing, but I like collecting like shirts, like old t-shirts for 49ers. So I find them on Mercari, which I mean, if you guys don't know what Mercari is, like a secondhand. Um, I mean, you could just sell things. Like it's like eBay, it's like OfferUp. So that's where I find my shirts. I shouldn't be giving you guys that piece of advice because you guys are gonna take all the shirts that are out there, but
So they're
that's my
legit.
secret.
They're legit.
Oh yeah, like this one too is pretty old, and like sometimes they'll come with like a little rip or like a small stain, but that's the price you gotta pay.
Do they disclose that though? Like before you buy
Yeah,
it?
usually people are pretty good about that. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Keith in the comments saying Jimmy G's destined for the USL Birmingham. Just Alex said destined for free agency. They're getting nothing. Um, let's talk about that, Jay. I feel like we at least I saw what you tweeted saying. Look at Cleveland strapped for cash based on what they're spending at the quarterback position. There's guarantees within Deshaun Watson's contract. Uh, I don't know how the hell his agent was able to do that for him to where if he was suspended, he's still getting cash. There's still cash flow thrown his way. Baker Mayfield, they're eating half of that contract, so $9 million, because I believe he was due 18. That's a significant amount. So like is I see people I tweeted out saying, oh, like I don't see a trade partner for Jimmy Garoppolo. So I called it if and once he's released. I just threw the if out there just to, save face a little bit, I guess. But like what's your to me, I think no way in hell Cleveland offers anything. What about you?
Yeah, I mean that's the thing is he could end up in Cleveland, but that doesn't mean it needs to be via trade. And you're absolutely right. So basically, the Sam Weiss tweet that I was actually showing. Yeah, I hope I got his name right. It's not Sam Weiss. I feel like that's a coach's name. It's Steve Weiss, who's actually very good at what he does. Yes, if Deshaun Watson is suspended for the year, his yearly salary does not hit the books. But the bonus, they're pushing cash out. So they're paying Deshaun Watson. He may not be there for the year. They're paying $10 million to Baker Mayfield. They're paying $2 million to Jacoby Brissett. Now you're talking about trading assets to pay Jimmy Garoppolo more money. Yes, they have the cap space to do it, but it doesn't seem smart. And that's where I was coming from. It's not that they can't do it. They can. If the Cleveland Browns want to continue their moves, their baffling quarterback moves, not knowing what was going to happen with Deshaun Watson and sending what they sent and then giving him every single guaranteed dollar, they can continue that. Just doesn't seem feasible. So there's a world where Jimmy Garoppolo can end up in Cleveland. I don't think it's via trade. And if you're talking about trade partners, there are none. None. I don't think the 49ers are going to move him to Seattle. That's the best way I can put it.
Yeah, I would say at this point, like, this is officially a lose-lose situation for the 49ers, as if there were any like doubt at this point. Like, I've been thinking that for a while. I think the most likely scenario at this point is that they cut Jimmy Garoppolo and possibly see him go to the Seahawks, which is something that I think the 49ers don't want to have happen. And a lot of people are like, well, why would that be an issue? Like, it's just Jimmy Garoppolo. We have seen this team, the 49ers, overvalue Jimmy Garoppolo at every turn. So, yes, they would have an issue with seeing him go to the Seahawks. Would I have an issue with it? No, but I'm just saying what I think the 49ers, I don't think they want to see him in this with Seattle having to play against him twice a year. That's what I think. I personally don't mind, but whatever. And really, if there is even a trade partner, which like Jason said, like I really don't think there are any. I mean, let's look at what Baker Mayfield went for, first of all. Not a 2023 conditional 5th round pick, a 2024. That's peanuts. That's as much of a comparison to peanuts that we can make for, trade value. So at this point, is it really worth the 49ers or another team to try to facilitate any type of trade at this point? I would say no. You also got to think about the fact that we're talking about a guy in Jimmy that he's about at the same level as Mayfield. You can make an argument for, yeah, he might be a little bit better, he might be a little bit worse, whatever, but he's about at that same level. And he hasn't thrown a football since his shoulder surgery. That's another aspect to all of this. He hasn't even started throwing yet. And the clock's ticking. Teams aren't going to be, waiting, as we've seen. I mean, the Panthers didn't wait. They went ahead, pulled the trigger on, picking up Baker Mayfield. And so I really think all the spots are filled in this quarterback carousel. And I mean, the 49ers are kind of out of luck at this point. So I foresee them releasing him at some point.
Right. I will say this too before I pass it to Leo. Let me go on record and say I believe that Jimmy Garoppolo is better than Baker Mayfield. I just want to be on record for that. That's it. Yep, I want to be on record for that. That's all.
Does Baker Mayfield have a higher ceiling? Or Maybe. Is that like washed now? Because we're 4 years in?
Right. And I think that's what Carolina is taking a chance on. If you're talking about what I know Jimmy Garoppolo is better, but there is this small chance that Baker Mayfield hasn't tapped into all of his potential, and he was very injured last year as well, too.
Yeah.
So that's what Carolina is betting on. Am I going to bet on that? No. I don't like betting on things I don't know. I'm going to bet on the jawline, the guy who's going to keep the locker room in together and win the games. I'm going to bet on that.
I don't have it, but the jawline. All right, I feel you. I was like, when I was doing this, I was like, shit, I'm not Jimmy. But I just want to give kudos to the rest of the comments. You guys are coming in hot today. Zachary Couch in there. Baker Trade shows me we get a stick of gum in 2026 for Jimmy. So literally a stick of gum, but you have to wait until 2026 to cash in on that stick of gum. Mariah always in the comments shooting fire as always. Melissa said, what's up, Leo and Steph? You okay, Jason? I'm
not okay. I'm having COVID aftershocks here, man. This is ridiculous.
And Joey, my guy, as always, Joey's active in the comments here with us. Baker is Jimmy with Just Dance on Wii. Whoa. I like that one. So the reason why I kind of said, is Jimmy destined for Cleveland here? It's not that I believe a trade gets done. I don't think it does. What's his options? Like, Cleveland knows that this Deshaun Watson thing is not going to get settled before Jimmy Garoppolo clears basically a physical. And once he clears a physical, 49ers can wash their hands and save $25 million right then and there. And I think that's got to be the priority for this team. Say you're cashing in on $25 million, and you don't have to go through the theatrics of Jimmy Garoppolo taking reps during training camp with Trey Lance when it's supposed to be his takeover season. But now you're hindering his reps during practice because you're not giving Jimmy Garoppolo, QB2 second squad reps. You're not doing that, especially if there's hope for trade value. Like, you're going to try to pump him up a little more. And you're going to give him reps because you want to prove he's healthy if there's teams that are questioning his health. But that's just dumb. Like, no way in hell professional franchise is going to hinder on those things. So I think he would get released. The Deshaun Watson thing's not going to be settled by then. And then I think he'll get a free agent deal there. It's going to be a cheap one. And I think it's Cleveland because you look at Seattle. I want to ask you this. What does Seattle gain out of signing Jimmy Garoppolo opposed to just rolling out the season with Drew Lock? Is Seattle a contender? Are they a Jimmy Garoppolo away from winning the NFC West? Are they a Jimmy Garoppolo away of being in an NFC title game? I don't think so. And I think Seattle knows that, considering the talent level they just gave away in Russell Wilson. They know the differences there. And they need a home run shot at that position. And I think that home run shot's going to come through the draft.
Jimmy Garoppolo won't put you to win the NFC West. He won't win you the NFC Championship. He won't put you in the Super Bowl, but he will wreck you getting one of these coveted quarterbacks that are going to come out in this draft, because he's going to win you more games than you need to win by starting Drew Lock and Geno Smith. Now, you can't openly tank. You can't tell your fan base we don't care, things like that. But it's clear that Seattle kind of has eyes towards CJ Stroud, some of the Bryce Young, those guys that are going to be in this draft. So, yeah, Jimmy Garoppolo may not win you a ton of games, but he'll win you enough to push you away from one of these studs that a lot of people will covet.
Yeah, and Robert Moreno, he has a comment in there. Baker is younger and doesn't cost $27 million, and I think that's a great takeaway from why Carolina pulled the trigger on a Baker Mayfield one, because they're only taking on $9 million. It would be 25 at that point for the 49ers, or maybe 25 and a half, because the 49ers trade or cut are still $1.5 million in dead cap. It's not his whole contract going to a new team. So, and then if the Panthers are only taking on 9 of Baker's, a pick that's in 2024, as Steph alluded to, were the 49ers going to take that pick? To me, it's just easier negotiations to where you have a younger quarterback. They were both beat up last year, cost way less, and the pick is also way less. Kind of made sense. What's the difference between Jimmy Garoppolo and Baker Mayfield in terms of a talent level? Is Matt Rule gonna just automatically just become a 13-4 head coach and they're gonna go win the NFC? No, it's probably, I would give, in baseball they have WAR, wins above replacements, and I would say Jimmy Garoppolo is probably about 2 above Baker. You look at the Carolina Panthers, give or take about 2. You look at the Carolina Panthers roster, they need help. They're not the 49ers. You look at all, say, 21 positions, take away the quarterback. So that's 20. You got 21 positions left. It's not even close to what the 49ers have. And we'll talk about teams and where their rosters rank here in a little bit. But that's kind of why Jimmy's stuck at where he's at. A lot of it has to do with the contract, and a lot of it has to do with what the 49ers are asking. And now, Steph, I want to ask you this. I think we as a fan base like to just point the fingers at the front office and even Kyle Shanahan, because he's involved in this, and saying they should have moved Jimmy quicker. And we wouldn't be in this fiasco. We wouldn't be essentially getting nothing out of it. But how much of it also weighs in on Jimmy Garoppolo, because he decided to have the surgery at the end of the day. It's a injury that most say it heals on their own, especially the time of the offseason we're in. You could just let it heal on your on itself. Yet he decides to have the surgery. That trade market that was there completely diminished, completely just ghosted. And now, instead of potentially making $27 million this season, he may be tapping out at 10 to 12. So as much as we point the finger at the front office on this, how much also weighs in on Jimmy Garoppolo? He's losing millions of dollars here.
I think both sides have a lot of fault in this situation. It's almost like both sides are trying their hardest to see that a deal does not get done. It's the strangest thing I've ever seen. I think from Jimmy Garoppolo's side, and sure, you can call this a conspiracy theory. I get into those sometimes, but I think that Jimmy's camp advised, let's put the aluminum, the foil hats on. But I think Jimmy's camp may have advised Jimmy Garoppolo to wait on getting the surgery because he could have also, I mean, you mentioned the fact that it's possible he didn't even need the surgery, right? It could have probably healed on its own. Not probably, but possibly healed on its own. And then also he could have had the surgery sooner. That's another aspect where we're not waiting until, freaking middle of July to see if he can throw a football.
Steph, 20 days away from this team reporting to camp. 20. Keep going. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Just wanted to throw it out there.
Yeah, and so I think it's the timing of the surgery more than anything that kind of screwed over the 49ers. And in my mind, it was one last FU to this team. And it's been reported that, yes, there was interest in Jimmy Garoppolo before that surgery happened. So, and it's so strange because it also, he shot himself in the foot if that was his. So it's very weird. I'm not sure what the end game was like from either side. Maybe a part of it was hoping you're gonna have to, end up with Jimmy Garoppolo on your roster, continue to pay him like, 25 million or whatever. Maybe that was the goal. Maybe the goal was to ultimately, I think it comes down to Jimmy's camp did not want the 49ers to get anything for him. I think that's what it comes down to. And sure, you guys can say that's a conspiracy. That's fine. That's just my opinion. That's what I think happened. And
no, I'm shaking my head at the comments that are coming in. Trust me, Steph. I'm listening to everything.
Oh no, not you. I'm just saying, like, the people watching can think that. That's fine. That's just my opinion. You guys don't have to, believe me. Ooh. But yeah, I mean, it looks bad on all fronts. And at the same time, while all this is going on, the 49ers also overvalued Garoppolo. So it was just those two things put together. Now we're in this situation. And as I mentioned, it's a lose-lose situation. So there is no winner here. And at this point, I think moving on is the only positive that we can take from all of this. Joey with the comments, like, he's been killing it with these comments.
Hey, yo, Plax was my guy back in the day. I don't know what it was. It's just, lanky dude playing out wide at wide receiver, just jumping over people. And I remember that whole situation. That's great. Yeah, really Plaxico burst this whole situation for sure.
And Leo, if I could put a cap on what Steph said, because Steph elaborated it in a very smart way. If I could put it in layman's terms, or maybe just be a little bit brute, this is a complete clusterfuck on both sides of the ball, right? Okay, because the one side overvalued somebody. This side did what they did, and now guess where you are? No man's land, which is the place that I always want to be. If I'm a man, I want to be in no man's land where there's no other men, and that's exactly where I would love to be at this point. The problem is mistakes were made on both sides at this point, but it now has become this clusterfuck what it is, and that's just where we are at this point, and this has forced the 49ers into a spot where you need to cut now Jimmy Garoppolo. And Jimmy Garoppolo maybe in some world wanted that. Maybe that's what they wanted the entire time. They wanted him to be able to choose his destination. My question would be, where do you go and you start now at this point? And I'll pass that to Leo.
So where do the 49ers go?
Where does Jimmy Garoppolo go where he has a feasible shot at – look, there's quarterbacks out there. I don't know how many times I have to repeat this. There's quarterbacks out there that Jimmy Garoppolo is better than. But you don't wreck your plans for Jimmy Garoppolo. You wreck your plans for Aaron Rodgers. You wreck your plans when Tom Brady's available. You wreck your plans when Patrick Mahomes is available. You don't tell Davis Mills in Houston, hey, bro, I don't want to see what you got in year 2, even though you were really good last year, the second best rookie quarterback, for Jimmy Garoppolo. That's not who you wreck your plans for. You may not even – Daniel Jones. You might not even go to Daniel Jones in New York and say, dude, we brought Brian Daboll here. And instead of trying to see what I can do with you because he gets all the credit for Josh Allen, we're going to wreck those plans for Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo is not that tier. He's not that guy, pal, that you wreck your plans for, right? Like I saw someone say the New York Jets. Why would I take a chance on Jimmy Garoppolo knowing what I know about him and not see if Zach Wilson can progress? It literally makes no sense. None.
Also on the Browns front, like even if Watson has a 8+ game suspension, let's just say, they have Jacoby Brissett too. I mean, again, they're not gonna wreck their plan. I don't think the drop off between Jimmy Garoppolo and Brissett is that dramatic.
And
that
the money.
They're going to,
and the money, Steph. Let's just say the 49ers. Let's just say the 49ers 8. Let's say the 49ers $8 million of it. Is Jimmy Garoppolo that much of an upgrade over Jacoby Brissett that you would pay him $14 million and pay for that while you're paying for Deshaun Watson and Baker Mayfield to play in Carolina? No.
And like we already know that the 49ers are on the verge of just having to release Jimmy Garoppolo. So why at this stage would we try to trade for anything?
Is Jimmy Garoppolo the new Dante Johnson?
That disrespected Dante Johnson because Dante Johnson actually gets a ton of hate for no reason. So like we're not slandering 27 on this program. That's not what we're doing here, bro. Like, come on, man. Like, how dare you disrespect a guy who's stuck around with this team? Find a team or find a person that loves you as much
tranquis. No, man, I don't want to do that. It's just I don't think he's on this team. I don't think anyone that watches and follows the 49ers to the extent of us three, as well as everyone here in the comments, knows that Jimmy Garoppolo is not going to be here. But to answer Jason's question, I think the only place he can go to start would be the Cleveland Browns on a Deshaun Watson suspension. Like, that's the only conclusion that I can go to. Seahawks, why would they ruin their plans to go get one of the top 2 quarterbacks in the draft? Like, it's a, tell me you're tanking without telling me you're tanking. It's starting the season with Drew Lock. The Giants, you don't know what's going on with Daniel Jones, and Daniel Jones has similar attributes to what Brian DeBall had in Buffalo with Josh Allen. Now, do I think Daniel Jones will tap that? My guess would be hell no. But I don't know what happens in the future in terms of Daniel Jones's career, and neither do the New York Giants. So that's why they're going to go with Daniel Jones. Davis Mills on a stupid second round contract, basically, over there in Houston. Why the hell would you go sign Jimmy Garoppolo? It just makes no sense at that point. Carolina, you already made your move with Baker. Miami, you already have a backup in Jacoby Brissett, and I said Miami because of obviously the connections with Mike McDaniels, and they've always seen one step in and one step out with Tua. And he's had injury histories as well, dating back to Alabama. So could have been an option. It's not an option. Jets, definitely not an option. You don't bring in Jimmy Garoppolo when you have Zach Wilson there. So it's just like, look at how many teams we're rolling through here. And there's just so many mid-level quarterbacks, just mid. Like, they're not bad enough to where you have to go sign Jimmy Garoppolo, and yet they're not good enough to where you're like, oh, definitely not them. There's just so many mid-level quarterbacks out there, and unfortunately, Jimmy Garoppolo is in that same realm of mid, if that makes sense.
He's in that tier. It's Cousins, Carr, Garoppolo, Tannehill, Mayfield, and on certain weeks you can come up with different aspects, to who it is.
Roderick Thomas in the comments just said the Eagles. See, like, I think the way they're marketing things there in Philly, that it's really Jalen Hurts' team.
It is.
They really believe in him
again.
And hold on. Their backup quarterback, Minshew. Come on, I love me some Minshew.
Of course, I
love me some Minshew as a QB2, I should say, as a QB2. So I think they have QB1. They hope to have figured out QB2. I think Minshew is probably like a top 10 quarterback too in the NFL. quarterback 2, top 10
Well,
backup if you're building your roster. So you don't
number
need Jimmy
one-
there.
The number 1 quarterback 2 would be Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah.
that was
Oh,
the case.
facts. Big facts.
Yeah.
Big fact. Not even gonna argue. Number 1 in ability and number 1 in pay. If he said with the 49ers.
I think we saw a donation pop in, Leo, if you wanted to
Yes.
grab that real quick. And with Jalen Hurts, I'd rather see if Hurts can develop than start Jimmy Garoppolo
Dude,
and know what I know about him.
I would be the first to admit I did not think Jalen Hurts would have, like, he hasn't succeeded much, but to be on a team that struggled in a year 1 head coach and make the playoffs, I did not think he had that dog in him. Like, I watched him in college and I was just like, like, he's not going to be, NFL guy, but he's proven me wrong. He's definitely developed as a passer, and I think that's the biggest thing in his game. Because I remember when Tua took over at Alabama, anything that was 10 yards downfield, he struggled with. He looks like he developed a lot more. Maybe kudos to Lincoln Riley at Oklahoma that helped him out on that. Donation here, 49ers throwback. Appreciate you as always. You always got the fire on Twitter. You got the fire on YouTube. Much love. Shout out you guys. Thank you for the show content, Jason, Leo, and Steph. Appreciate you guys. Jason, will you be at training camp? We need to know these things, man.
Indeed. And like, maybe we can let it out the bag, but there might be a few of us at the joint practices with the Minnesota Vikings also in Minnesota. So yes, make sure you keep it locked to all of these channels because the content will not stop.
Don't stop, won't stop.
Training camp too. No one asked, but
let's go, Steph.
I'll be there.
You going?
Yeah, that's the plan.
Oh,
that's the plan.
Let's go, man.
I'm just waiting for the tickets to drop.
We lit.
Where I really want to go, not for a coverage standpoint but more so to an experience, is I want to go to Mexico City, man. Like, I really do.
That would be fun.
This is the aspirations of a very rich man. Now, I am not rich. Now, going to Mexico City, I implore people to just go ahead, look at those tickets and see how much they cost. And that's just
really?
That's just how much the tickets. That's just how much the tickets cost to the game, let alone flying from wherever it is your respective town to there and then staying somewhere.
Look, I'm lucky. The Tijuana border is just like right there.
So you drive.
I just walk across, fly out of TJ.
This man said walk.
Well,
he might be on something.
No, we drive. Hey, no, I fly out of TJ. I fly out of TJ. It's way cheaper to fly out of TJ if you're staying domestic in Mexico.
On something.
I just did that for Cancun. We just drove I got dropped off by a cousin at the airport and then flew from TJ to Cancun, from Cancun back into TJ. And I think
there's levels to this.
It was like four tickets for $400.
Oh,
to Cancun.
Oh, okay. Sounds real good, Leo. Now take a look at those.
I'm alive.
Prices.
I'm
take
alive.
A look at those prices to go to the game. You better hope. You better pray to the Aztec god that we can get credentials to that game.
The Aztec gods.
Oh, you like that, right? Is that good? Does that work?
Oh my god! Preseason game to the Vikings is $7.
Yeah, but nobody cares about going to the game. It's about the joint. It's the joint practices. I want to see Charvarius Ward against Justin Jefferson. I want to see Kirk Cousins. I want to see Kyle Shanahan drop tears when Kirk Cousins drops a throw in the bucket and just be like, "That's the one that got away." Like Kirk Cousins is Kyle Shanahan's white whale. If it's a Moby Dick reference. I'm sorry. I'm not 75 years old, but I hope that you guys get that reference.
Is it only 49ers.com that's selling the tickets?
Are you talking about to camp or are you talking about to the
No, Mexico City?
Ticketmaster. You can look on there and you can look at
because my go-to site is TickPick. That's not an endorsement.
Yeah. Oh yeah, if you're gonna use TickPick, yeah, it is. If you're gonna use TickPick, use promo code SRO and you can get some extra time off. So yes.
Say that again.
Use promo code SRO for any game that you're going to. Use TickPick. They have no promo fees or no extra fees or anything like that on the tickets as well too. So shout out to them. They sent the bag in the NFC Championship game.
That's exactly why I use TickPick though, is just because of the fees. No fees or anything like that. I know exactly what I'm paying when I hit, check out, and then all of a sudden I'm not surprised with the $250 surprise fee of service fees. I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see it on Ticketmaster. I don't know. If you guys want to just DM me the link of the tickets, I am so curious of what. Oh, SHIT. Joey said the cheapest ticket is $651 on Vivid Seats. Well, I'm not going to the Mexico City game. Like, I'm not going. 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 I'm gonna watch
expensive.
It from home.
It's so expensive right now that they have taken it down on TickPick.
See, the thing
when you first looked, there were thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
That's
the thing is,
nuts.
I'm not buying just one seat if I go to that game. It's gonna be me. My wife's obviously gonna go to that. Maybe I may have to fork up a seat for my daughter who's not gonna be interested at all. So I'm like, now I'm looking at almost $3,000. Yeah, no. I'm out.
So you're not going to Mexico City. I think that's the wrap on this entire conversation is that many of us are not going to be going, and the people that do go, you're rich.
God bless you.
Can I mow your lawn and make some money from you guys?
God bless you. Can you drop a super chat? Thanks.
If you send $5, it'll help us get way closer to that.
So
hey, Leo.
Yeah.
I wanted to go back to something you said about Jalen Hurts, though.
Go ahead. Because
you're like, I was a little surprised that, Jalen Hurts was able to do that. I don't know, man. According to PFF, they have the 7th best roster in the NFL.
Oh, geez.
You know what? I think we're good.
We'll get
like with the Jimmy Garoppolo
real quick.
Stuff,
Let's get to this donation.
Yes,
let's get to this donation. So, Luis Castellanos, appreciate you, my guy. I'll pray to all the Aztec gods, particularly to. I'm sorry, man. I still have troubles pronouncing those. For you guys to make it over here for that game at Aztec Stadium. See,
Luis, I'll be there in spirit. I'll be there in spirit.
Pachito? I totally butchered, but I tried.
I blame Leo more than anything.
But appreciate you. Don't blame. Stop it. No, don't blame me.
No, but thank you for your generosity, Luis. That means a lot. We appreciate you, man. And I'd love to make it over there, but I've been counting my pennies trying to figure out how many games I can get to this year. And now that there's like these new COVID strains that like beat everything, I just like I don't even know what the hell to do, man. I don't even want to leave the house at this point anymore.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and see if I could pull up the roster list. It's basically CBS Sports. They did every roster ranked in the NFL, so they did it between all 32 teams. And as you can assume, the 49ers got slandered once again. They were ranked 18th out of 32. So that's
if you thought PFF's list was bad.
Yeah.
If you thought PFF's list was bad, CBS said, "Oh, hold my beer. Watch this."
They said violence. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to pull it up, but I'll run through it for now. Number 1, Buffalo Bills. Number 2, I wasn't about to say San Diego Chargers. Los Angeles Chargers. Wow. 3, Los Angeles Rams. 4, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 5, Cincinnati Bengals. 6, Kansas City Chiefs. 7, Dallas Cowboys.
Cowboys.
Yeah. Feel free to interrupt while I go through this.
I will.
Then we got 8, Green Bay Packers. Do they even have a wide receiver core? All right. 9, Philadelphia Eagles. 10, Baltimore Ravens. 11, Denver Broncos. 12, Oakland, Los Angeles, Oakland, Las Vegas Raiders. 13, Minnesota
Vikings.
14, Miami Dolphins. 15, Cleveland Browns. 16, Indianapolis Colts.
Sorry.
Are they taking in consideration injury to Darius Leonard? I don't know. 17, Pittsburgh Steelers. 18, San Francisco 49ers.
Steph,
Save me. Somebody save me.
Please, no, Steph, please be level-headed.
Someone
and then, if people get what they want from me, I'm going to yell until my throat gets hoarse. So go for it.
Be level-headed. How could I be level-headed at a time like this, Jay? Okay. Because this is both about PFF and CBS, right? So I stopped caring what PFF has to say unless it hashtag fits my narrative. And I mean,
Love
CBS,
that.
I would never go to them for any type of, ranking or anything like that. Power rankings, I don't care. At this point, like, I am just convinced that all of these pages' engagement plan is to just trigger 49er fans. Like, that has to be it, right? That's the only explanation, because no one in their right mind would actually think that the 49ers would be out of the top 10 in best roster, right? You can make a strong argument for even top 5. Okay. So I don't understand. I mean, I think for them, it just generates quote tweets, retweets, comments, whatever, clicks. The only reason I find out about these lists to begin with is because pissed off 49er fans are sharing them on my Twitter feed. So, okay, 49er fans, let's be a little bit better. If we see a shit ranking, just ignore it, okay? Because they don't know what the hell they're talking about, and they're just trying to get a reaction out of us. I just know it. I feel it. All of this ridiculous crap about this team that has been said this entire offseason, it's just going to be motivation for this team. And let's be honest, it'll probably all just become memes by the end of the season that we'll all laugh at, like Adam Rank's season prediction from last year. Okay, they're just making the same mistakes as him. So I don't know, man. I'm tired of it. Just keep it coming, I guess. Whatever.
It's just funny, the discrepancies within this. Obviously, the 49ers are not the 18th best roster on this list. Like, that's just completely wrong. But it's funny. PFF had the top 5 NFC rosters, and the New Orleans Saints were number 5. It's funny how they have them number 5, and then CBS has them at 21 behind the New York Jets, which is, for me, what? All right. It is engagement season. It's all of those things. This particular list is particularly infuriating just because of Minnesota Vikings. And Leo and I on the Oh Hey There podcast, which you should subscribe to anywhere that you get your audio podcast, by the way, we went through who the 49ers will be playing. They play the Raiders. 49ers have a better roster than the Raiders. The 49ers have a better roster than the Dallas Cowboys right now. I mean, look, let's just, if you go through it logically and you go through each group, right? The fact that the Miami Dolphins are ahead of the 49ers for me is weird. Tua Tagovailoa, we know as little about him as we do Trey Lance at this point. So cool, that's quarterback, right? Let's just say their running back room is a little bit better. Shout out to Raheem Mostert. Good for you, buddy. Appreciate you. Teron Armstead's over there. That's cool. Wide receiver group, Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, Mike Gesicki. Well, George Kittle's better than Mike Gesicki. Jalen Waddle. Yeah, here we go. Perfect. Jalen Waddle, he's not better than Deebo Samuel. Tyreek Hill's one of the best in the game. We get that part. Defense, Nick Bosa is better than anybody they got on their line. Fred Warner's better than any linebacker they have. Sure, their secondary is probably better. Let's give them that. Xavier Howard is incredible. We get that part. But objectively, like, do you really look through these rosters? Do you really look at them objectively? Like, PFF, yes, again, hashtag fits my narrative. The number 1 linebacker group, San Francisco 49ers. So that automatically is one group that is better than everybody else in the league. How does that not push them up in the roster portion of it? And, by the way, I hate to make it sound like this. The reason that linebacker group is the best in the league is not because of 1 or 2 guys. It's because of all 3 guys. And that third guy is Azeez Al-Shaair. So I just want to make sure I put that out there because I am pro Azeez Al-Shaair, pushing that propaganda, making sure that you guys know that the reason that linebacker group is the best is because of Azeez Al-Shaair. But Kansas City, it was a toss-up when Leo and I did our talk. Green Bay, their wide receiver group right now is led by Alan Lazard and Randall Cobb. It's like so much of this has to do, I think, with quarterback play. And let's just say CBS is going off of that. Jalen Hurts, number 9. Kirk Cousins, number 13. Tua Tagovailoa, 14. 15, possibly Jacoby Brissett. Most likely Jacoby Brissett. Mitch Trubisky and Kenny Pickett ahead of the San Francisco 49ers. I understand TJ Watt is maybe better than Nick Bosa. I'll give you that. Give you that one. It's just, again, what are you guys basing this off of? If this is total roster, top to bottom, the 49ers are going to have to cut players that many people are going to run to scoop because there's only so many spots. How many of these teams can say that? The Bengals? Are you kidding me? Like, who did they add right now that has you saying, oh, wow, they already had a good roster because they draft well. I just have a tough time figuring out what's the methodology to this CBS thing. I just don't get it.
There is none. There's none. Like that. Let's just leave it at that. There is none. There's no good reason for this list. Like, if whoever made this list, I forgot his name, because he's irrelevant as far as I'm concerned.
Cody Benjamin.
Cody
freaking Benjamin. If I had a conversation with him and I asked him to justify, like, you know, him picking each one of these before the 49ers, I think he'd have a hard time explaining that. It doesn't make any sense.
The Saints have a better roster than the Cowboys, than the Vikings, than the Raiders, probably at this point, even with Jameis Winston starting. That's what's funny about this, is that, you know what? We're disrespected at 18, but 21, the Saints, that is insane to me, man. Even losing Teron Armstead. Their secondary is stacked. They've got great wide receivers, Jarvis Landry, Chris Olave, Michael Thomas. Like, I don't understand what is the methodology to this. Leo, help me out here, bro.
Are you on mute?
I just muted myself when I went to speak. I'm trying to see where he basically commented on the 49ers. That's what I'm trying to see. He it just doesn't make any sense to me at this point. You look at a lot of these teams, do they have limited question marks like the 49ers? Let's go through the 49ers. Where's their question mark? Is Jake Brendel that guy at center? Like, is he going to be a quality starter? I don't know. Left guard, I don't know. Right guard, you'd figure Daniel Brunskill. Right tackle, there's hope that it's Mike McGlinchey week 1, right? Like, there's hope out there, according to the 49ers, but then they seem not as always accurate as they are in terms of these injuries. So, like, they had literally had us hoping for Jalen Hurd for 3 years. So we'll see how true the Mike McGlinchey analysis is. So basically, you have left guard, center, and then strong safety, and that's it, right? You have 3 question marks on this whole roster. 3 question marks. You have
4.
definites in every
4.
What's the 4th?
Strong safety.
Yeah, I have strong safety. Hufanga. Because we don't know. I don't know that.
We don't know that, and that doesn't mean that he can't just show up and just be great. It's just we don't know.
I guess we'll go with 4 because of nickel corner.
Okay,
we'll go with 4. Is Dante Johnson that guy? Is it the one they took out of the draft?
Darqueze
Dennard. I was going off name of the list. Leave me alone, man.
I'm just joking, man.
Jesus. All right, I'm scrolling to the 49ers here to see what he said. So he says 49ers. What does Trey Lance have to offer? That's the big question. Assuming Kyle Shanahan actually follows through with plans to turn QB keys over to his athletic but unpolished investment and part ways with serviceable but creaky Jimmy Garoppolo. And what about Deebo Samuel, Shanahan's top weapon out wide and on the run? If he stays, the offense is still decent shape no matter who's throwing the ball. For the trench warriors, namely star left tackle Trent Williams and short area targets George Kittle are still elite. The D has different pros and cons, with Nick Bosa and Fred Warner dominating the front seven. But the secondary, once again, looking outside of help, ex-Chiefs corner Charvarius Ward for consistency. What? The Emmanuel Mosley slander? Are you what? The Jimmy Ward slander? What? What?
He doesn't watch the 49ers. Like, if he wanted to just say that, he could have just said that instead of, feeding us this BS.
This is the deepest their secondary has been.
And to even say, well, Deebo Samuel, what if he that ship sailed? He is not going anywhere. He is on this roster this year, whether he likes it or not. So man.
And I can make the argument that this defense could possibly be better than last year's if Drake Jackson even does a little bit of what
you make some points.
D4 did. And Charvarius Ward and Emmanuel Mosley paired with Jimmy Ward. Now, let's get spicy. Charvarius Ward hasn't played it down for the 49ers, so I'm projecting. Cool, got you. But he has the lowest completion percentage allowed since 2019 per Next Gen Stats. Emmanuel Mosley was the cornerback one of this team. Jimmy Ward continues to be one of the most underrated safeties. Here's my hot take. This secondary is the best secondary that the 49ers have had since 1994-1995. Deion Sanders, Eric Davis, Tim McDonald, and Merton Hanks. That's not that much of a hot take when you really think about it. Think about the teams in 2012 and 2013 that the 49ers had. Carlos Rogers was a reclamation project. Chris Culliver was okay. We know Whitner is a boss. We know Deshaun Golson was, but they were largely saved by pass rush. 2019, Richard Sherman, Ahkello Weatherspoon, Jimmy Ward, and Tart was mostly saved because of pass rush. So what's crazy about what I'm saying right now at this point? And is this so crazy that it should be put in the worst hot takes? No. Charvarius Ward and Emmanuel Mosley afford this team so much flexibility in terms of what you can do, man. They ran cover 3 all 2019 because Richard Sherman couldn't be on an island with anyone. I don't know where's the hot take here. This secondary might be the best that we've seen since the 94-95 team when Deion played on it. And you know what? That's my hot take that I'm going to sit on.
Hey.
I like it.
It's just, I don't really, it's like low-hanging fruit when it comes to the unknown of Trey Lance. And then it's like Deebo Samuel, Steph said, that ship has sailed. He's going to be on the 49ers, whether it's his last year as a 49er and for whatever reason a contract doesn't get worked out, that's one thing. But he's going to be on the 49ers this season. And then two, it's just like you went and threw out secondary. Pros and cons of this 49ers defense, the secondary. And Jason just listed what we're looking at the cornerback position. Like, what the hell do you mean, man?
Ambry Thomas played meaningful snaps down the stretch. You know what he is this year? Depth.
Yes.
Depth.
Yep.
That man played in the biggest game of his life in the NFC Championship, made the biggest play in Week 18. He's depth. Come on, man. What are we talking about?
Roderick Thomas had a great comment here. And Jason Verrett is here in the secondary as well.
If Verrett plays and
that's house money. That's house money, though.
But
like,
if
they have house money this year.
If it's Ward and Verrett and Mosley, then it's no question to what I said about the secondary being as good as it was 94-95 or the best since 94-95. It's not even close at this point if Jason Verrett plays. No.
Like they're literally playing with house money at the secondary position, and that's one of their knocks at being the 18th best roster on the team or in the league, excuse me. That come on now. Hey, Benjamin, Mr. Benjamin there. Start watching watch film.
Watch the tape. Watch the tape, man. I mean, shit, man. I mean, if they're not going to be watching the tape, I don't really care. I mean, it's just like, it's all over there. I mean, he was all right. I mean, you can win with Charvarius Ward. It's just boring.
I'll tell you what though. It's just like I don't listen. I don't watch. I don't read nothing that comes out of CVS Sports
You
and
read the receipt? Because the receipt is as long as your arm.
CBS.
No, I thought you said CBS.
No. No,
Oh,
CBS.
man.
I
He
don't
said that
read,
receipt.
watch, read nothing from them. And it's Walgreens over here, homie. We don't do that CVS.
Oh yeah, I gave mad points at Walgreens, so we don't care about CBS.
But it's just like this shows me why I don't follow none of their content that comes out of there, because then you have dudes like this, and then you have Pete Prisco, who just has a vendetta against the 49ers, and it's just like at that point it's one man's opinion, and at that level it's a biased opinion that's never going to be just like level-headed, which yes, I am biased in favor of the 49ers, but what I do take pride in is being level-headed when I have conversations with people.
Here's the problem, Leo, is if you're somebody who covers every single sport, I'm going to cut you slack, because it's impossible to be informed on 32 teams in 3 different leagues and 3 different sports, which are completely context. But if you are an NFL guy and all you cover is the NFL, I expect you to know exactly what's going on with each of the 32 teams, especially if you're paid for that. And that's the problem that I have more than anything. Like, Stephen A. Smith gets a lot of hate, but Stephen A. Smith needs to have a general knowledge of things, right? Pete Prisco is an NFL guy. This guy, an NFL guy. What are you watching? Have you watched them? No. And if you haven't, then just say that. Like, just say that. And the reason that he's not saying that is he's saying it with this roster list. He's saying that. Tell me you haven't watched the 49ers and don't understand what's going on with the 49ers without telling me. And you know what? This doesn't go to him. I saw something on Good Morning Football. Kyle Brandt, is that his name?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Something about, in Chiefs camp, we heard Patrick Mahomes was making the no-look passes. I haven't heard any of that from 49ers camp because you're not paying attention. Fred Warner literally told you what he's seen. Deebo Samuel has told you what he's seen. Brandon Ayuk and George Kittle have gone and told you what they've seen. That's my issue more than anything. If you're covering one sport, you better know that sport. I'm not playing with you. If you cover 3 and 4 sports, I'll cut you some slack. But if you're an NFL analyst, the fact that you don't know what's going on with certain teams and you only have 32 teams to cover is embarrassing, in my opinion.
Go off, sis.
Facts.
Hey, shut up.
You want to get to the cut to the chase here. Have a little Deebo talk since we've getting a little closer.
To just talk about this Deebo stuff.
Yeah.
So the Baker Mayfield stuff, this list, that was burying the lead for what we really wanted to talk about.
Yes. But first, everybody here that's with us, hit the like, hit the subscribe, comment here once the video is like officially posted. Also comment here with us as well. Let's do it. Let's talk 49ers. So we'll definitely appreciate all the likes and everything that comes with it. Y'all
Canem HHI said, watch the tape on Jimmy. I am dead. I can't believe that's a comment that would actually come out for us. Watch the tape on Jimmy and he wins. That better be a troll comment, and that's the last time I'm acknowledging anything that he has to say at this point.
See, you saw how we had that conversation on the Niners Nation, our podcast, the Oh Hey There, and we talked about first 5 years of Steve Mariucci and first 5 years of Kyle Shanahan. Like, who would you rather have? Yet it seemed like it was 99.9% in favor of Kyle Shanahan, which, recency bias, like I do get that. But if we're talking about the win factor, Mariucci was over 500 and he had more wins than Kyle Shanahan. But you're able to look at context and go, oh, yeah, well, Shanahan's a better coach.
I wish Shanahan would have had Steve Young walking into the league. That would have been pretty dope.
Right.
Yeah, so it's like that whole, and he wins, like, it, to me, it carries some weight, but it doesn't carry the conversation. To me, it carries the weight when you compare guys like Jimmy Garoppolo and Baker Mayfield. Like, to me, I think guys are going to want to fight more. They're going to want to, play more. They're going to be more hungry to play with a guy like Jimmy Garoppolo than they would for a guy like Baker Mayfield. So I'll carry it that way, but in a complete just, he's better than him because of the wins. It's like, yeah.
Leo.
Yeah, no one PS's way.
Leo, make sure you watch that tape on Jimmy Garoppolo because apparently people are seeing things that we're not seeing. Yo, the team has been actively trying to replace this man since 2019, but we need to watch the tape. Got it.
So Canham said, dude turned a losing squad to a winner. So you mean Jimmy Garoppolo was better than Brian Hoyer?
No way.
Like, dude, I'm shocked. What? Really? Wow.
Trey
Breaking
has
news
done
here.
nothing.
Breaking news here. Jimmy Garoppolo is a better quarterback than CJ Beathard and Brian Hoyer. Breaking news. Wow. Obvious freaking lead, my guy. Obviously. So, it is what it is.
Avery, do you watch the tape on Jimmy Garoppolo? No? That's right. Yeah. Yeah. We don't want to watch the tape on that, right? Nah. Okay. Okay. There you go.
But let's Deebo Samuel. Are we starting to get a little closer to this? Are we getting just a little bit closer, Steph, to this whole Deebo Samuel thing? Are we gonna find an end in Deebo Gate, or is it gonna be something that gets carried into the season? Like, what's your feeling here?
Dude, this fan base is so, and I don't want to say everyone, okay? Because hold
on, real quick. Canham said, watch his EIU film, Eastern Illinois.
You can't. That's the thing about it. You've never watched it because you can't find it, so don't lie. I love the people that say, I watched the NDSU film. You watched YouTube highlights. You can't get your hands on that film. Don't lie. Stop lying to the people, okay, people? Like, when I get college film, I get it in a back alley with a guy who's like smoking a cigarette with like a bunch of like it's that hard to get. So stop acting like Eastern Illinois film is just out there for everybody to get. Just shut up, dude. Go ahead.
And also, who cares what he did in college? I mean, he's in the NFL now. It's about what you do in the NFL. And yes, he has won. But as Jason mentioned, this team has been trying to get rid of him for a few years now. And at the same time, they do overvalue him. But they gave up the farm to trade up for Trey Lance. So if they were happy with Jimmy Garoppolo, why in the hell would they have ever done that? Ask yourself that question. Anyway, going back to Deebo Samuel, man, I feel like part of this fan base is just so pissed off, or just they feel away. They feel away about everything that Deebo Samuel has done this offseason. And sure, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, their own feeling. That's fine, but people are just reaching and making things up pretty much at this point to, I guess, deflect some of those feelings that they have and be like, oh, Deebo didn't want to sign this kid's ball. Come on, man. I got news for you. Every one of your favorite athletes has ignored a kid before, and probably more than once, because for one, athletes are surrounded by children at a lot of these events the entire time, begging for them to sign something. And a lot of the time, the parents are the ones that are like, go, ask them. And they try to guilt players into having things signed for them. All right. And if players signed every kid's, memorabilia or whatever, they would never leave the freaking event or wherever they're at, because there would just be a flow of kids. You're going to have to say no to someone. And Jason, I know you're going to get to this, so I'm going to let you spit on that. But I'm just going to say that there are rules to some of these camps, and you're going to mention it. So I'm not really going to get into it, but basically people got mad over nothing, and they're the ones who look like fools for doing it. Go ahead, Jay.
Steph, you nailed it. I'm not going to really get into that too much. Anybody who's ever been to any sort of camp understands that there's time for people to sign whatever it is, and there's not a time for them to sign personal things, because you know what shitty parents do is they take those things and sell them on eBay. If you get a picture and you sign it, cool. You know what? I did your kid a solid. And, it's really funny that Deebo Samuel's picture is out there, with the kid. What I have a problem with is this, and this is my rant, and it has little to do with what's going on with that, is I need people, one, to start thinking clearly, okay? And two, I need so many of you 49er fans to stop being disrespected by what players do when they're getting negotiations and they're doing negotiations for their money. Let me explain something to you. All right, let me just crack this out real quick. So, Deebo Samuel goes out there and puts his body on the line every single day, and he wants to get paid a bunch of money. But he disrespected our team because he deleted everything off of Instagram, and he disrespected me. That man does not care about you and should not care about you or me. You know what he should care about? Himself, his family, getting paid in the small window that he has time to get paid. My problem is this. You are entitled, and you feel entitled for some stupid reason. Deebo Samuel doesn't owe you a damn thing. No damn thing. You know what he owes himself? To get paid for this game that you're entertained by. Because here's what happens. When Deebo Samuel gets hurt and never plays again, you would just push him aside and just say, well, you know what? He can't play anymore. Don't care. And remember the memories, all this stuff. Bullshit. Bullshit. Deebo Samuel deserves to get every single dollar that he deserves. And you to feel disrespected because Deebo Samuel wants to take care of his family and take care of himself while he plays this game where he could die every single day is ridiculous. Stop being entitled. He don't owe you a damn thing. You root for the team, and that man has to take care of himself only. That's it. There is never a time where that man has to think about, well, that guy who paid for row 138 and row whatever, I need to think about them. You wouldn't care about that man when he tears his ACL, destroys his knee, and can't play this game again because you're just going to post his football clips on Twitter later on and say, always remember Deebo. That don't pay the bills, and this league don't love you back. I am tired of people trying to talk crazy about Deebo Samuel for taking care of his family. Ridiculous, man. Stop acting like he owes you something. He don't owe you a damn thing. He owes himself because he's so good at this game that you love, and he owes his family because he is playing a game where he could die at any moment playing this game. I'm tired of it, man. I don't care about a kid's signing. Joe Montana's probably walked past the kid and said, go fuck yourself, kid. Jerry Rice has probably said, I can't sign this, get lost. And you had no problem with it. You know why? There was no camera phones back in the day. Deebo Samuel deserves every single dollar. You know why? He made you happy. You know how he did that? He put his body on the line. Stop talking to me about whether Deebo Samuel disrespected his fan base. He is respecting himself, and he was respecting his family by paying for himself for a league that don't love you back. There is a bunch of people that have played this game that are toothless, who have concussions, and can never fully function. And you are sitting here trying to tell me that this man shouldn't get paid, man. I'm tired of it, bro. I'm tired of it. Deebo, get every single dollar. And if that gets you off the 49ers and you get paid, I don't care. Get every single dollar you need, young man. Sorry, I haven't had that pent up for a long-ass time. I am tired of people acting entitled. He does not owe you a damn thing. He doesn't owe any 49er fan a damn thing, man. What are you talking about? Go, Leo.
How dare you tell me to go after that rant? Like, what the hell am I supposed to say?
I'm glad I went first.
Hey, what the hell am I supposed to say? No, but like, keep it facts. Like, I've been to plenty of kid football camps. I've played football at a young age my entire life through high school, some in college. I would have made it to the league if it wasn't for my knee. You know what I'm saying? But I've been to plenty of these kid camps, and there is a ton of rules. And your parents sign those waivers listed with the rules in there when you participate. And they even go over the rules before like any of the exercises starts. Hey guys, we're here to do this. Can't do any autographs during this, but at the end of the camp, we're gonna go ahead and line up, do autographs, things like that. Like, you get notified of all of that. So I don't think necessarily the kid was holding his head down. I could be, I could be wrong, but this is just my analysis from being at many camps, from being freaking 5 years old all the way through high school. I think the kid was just embarrassed that he was like literally sent to go try to get
His
Deebo's
father forced
signature.
it.
Yeah,
father
it
Yeah,
was just like
Deebo
to me
said
it looked like
he went up to him like 5 times and
yeah,
told
to
him,
me it
I
looked
can't sign
like
it right now.
like I knew that was gonna happen, like type of thing. Not like, oh my god, Deebo just ruined my day. I'm not a fan of his. And no, it's just like I like it looked like I knew, I knew what the result was gonna be. But it's like I don't get why people are mad for players to get their money. Are you gonna be mad? Like, what's the most important thing when we go to jobs? We want to make more money, we want to get paid more, and we want raise constantly. If you don't get a raise over a year, you're like, what the hell? Start looking at different jobs. I should go somewhere like this. They don't pay me enough. This is a bunch of BS. At the end of the day, the 49ers are Deebo Samuel's employer. They're not his wife. They're not his brother. They're not his it they it's like a family, but it's not his family in literal terms. So you want to get paid, especially when you're at the best at what you do. And then when you look across the league, it's the human nature to go, oh, he got paid how much? Oh, once again, he got paid how much? Oh, somebody else? How much? What the hell? Like, I want to be paid too. We all do that as a human being. If someone at your job gets a $3,000 bonus, you ain't gonna count in your own pocket saying, wait, I didn't get one, I didn't get two, I didn't get three. Yet I accomplished more of my daily tasks and my goals within my company, and I'm not getting these things. So it's definitely just the dude deserves the money. Like the job I do, I don't my life's not on the line. His literally is. We had someone in the comment section talk about Demaryius Thomas. It's a literal thing with these NFL players. And growing
Demaryius
up
Thomas
here
is
in San
39 years
Diego,
old. 39
growing
years
growing up
old.
here in San Diego, obviously families from the Mission District in San Francisco, so I've always bled red and gold. Like I didn't have an option of what my football team was. My dad literally has a logo tattooed on him. I'm not quite there yet, and I've always told myself they got to win me a Lombardi in my adulthood for me to do that. And so basically, short story, it's growing up here in San Diego. Junior Seau was an icon. He's from Oceanside, which is a city inside of San Diego, and he dealt with it pretty badly. And he had a ton of nephews that I grew up playing football with, and once he finally passed, like that wasn't the first attempt of him, trying to take his own life. He literally drove off the side of the freeway on a road, went down a cliff, and it's just like this is serious things. Like it's a tough sport, and when it's time to get paid, you only get a certain amount of paydays in your young career. Like Deebo does not know what happens next year. We seen him in an offseason workout break his foot and miss time. You don't know what's gonna cause yourself to miss a game. So that's Leo's from the ghetto, 100 point. Leo, much respect. So like that's the reason why these guys want to get paid. Just like you want to get paid, right?
Of course.
If someone got a stimulus check, you want to get a stimulus check too, right?
Right.
Like,
And
come on, it's like, what are we doing?
And look, real quick, just to put a cap on this, I'm sorry that I yelled for so long or whatever, but I've been holding that one in because I saw so many people in here like, well, you didn't see Trent Williams and George Kittle. Like, I don't care how they handled it. They handled it and they got paid. Deebo Samuel's handling in the best way that he thinks he is, and he's trying to get paid and he deserves it. But I implore anybody to watch the concussion movie with Will Smith or just watch the documentary about the actual doctor that was done by PBS. There was a guy who used to play for the Steel Curtain Pittsburgh Steelers, and because his brain had gone to mush because of this football game that we love so much that we speak about, he would pull his teeth with pliers and then super glue them back together while he lived in a truck. And the only way that he was able to put himself back to sleep was to tase himself with an actual taser. Don't tell me that none of these guys deserve to be paid in this time. And that's just one example. And Junior Seau is a great example. And, obviously, unfortunately, what happened to Demaryius Thomas is this game is brutal. This game don't love you back. This league don't love you back. These teams don't love you back, because as soon as you're done and they can't use you anymore, they will cut you. I have no problem with the way that any of these players decide how to do it, whether that's just deleting everything that has to do with the team, whether that is outright going on TV and saying, I can't play for this team anymore. You want to say honor the contract? I say get your money while you can, young man. And that's the end of that.
Look, Lauren, I'll just end it at this. I'll be civil. Lawrence in the comments, Lawrence Kramer says Deebo doesn't deserve anything. Guess what? We could talk about whether it was a full season or not. At this usage rate and stuff like that. That's fine. But guess what? That one year that he had, right? Nobody has ever done what he did last season in the history of the NFL. Nobody. Yet he doesn't deserve it.
Not one player. Like, what Deebo did was literally the word unprecedented. No one's ever done it. Nobody in this league. And a guy like Justin Jefferson has done things that nobody has done in this league in 2 years. He's going to ask for whatever it is that he deserves. Again, don't talk to people who are putting their body on the line every single day that they're out there playing football in any way, how they should get paid. This isn't baseball. Baseball, it's guaranteed contracts. And the hardest thing to do, I feel, in any sport is hitting a baseball. The hardest thing to do is to play football, continuously get hit over and over and over and get up and continuously play. They deserve as much money as those baseball players do for what they do.
And you brought up a great point about getting hit. That's why the running back position is the highest churn in the NFL. Don't matter if you're a 5-time Pro Bowler or not. It's the highest churn at that position in the NFL. Quarterbacks, sure, but you literally got to be ass in order for that to be a churn. Like, teams will stick with you for as long as they can. But running back is the biggest churn in the NFL because of the hit rate. Not the hitting rate, the hit rate. The times you get hit, not the times you're the one doing the hitting.
I think this unfortunate mentality comes from the whole like shut up and dribble kind of mentality. And let's be honest, like the point in where a player starts to act differently than what you like them to or how you expect them to, that's when people start to get pissed off. And that's what's not right about, how people are reacting to anything that Deebo has done this offseason. So I'm going to just leave it at that. I think there's other connotations to that type of mentality. I'm not going to get into them, but you guys know what I mean.
As a Seinfeld fan, I can't believe I'm going to tell a Kramer this, but you suck. You absolutely suck, dog. Like, you just absolutely suck, man. You know who doesn't deserve money? Whatever field of work you're in, you don't deserve it more than anything, okay? That guy did something that nobody's ever done. That means top money. That means more money. So, sorry, I hate to say it. While I'm wearing a Seinfeld hat, and it's my favorite show, yeah, I'm sorry. For once, Kramer's terrible. For twice, actually. He's done some things that are outside there, but yeah. For once, I can't believe I'm telling a Kramer this. You suck. You actually don't deserve anything in terms of like whatever it is that you do in your life. So, yeah, I played ball for nothing. It was injured several times. You're a dummy. So there you go. There's your answer.
And another thing was funny. Like all these people who are mad at Deebo Samuel and talking all this shit, they're gonna go back to kissing his ass the moment that he gets his deal. That's the irony.
The moment that he scores 3 touchdowns in a big game against the Los Angeles Rams, and they're like, "Oh my God, I love you, Deebo."
Look. If people say that, oh, he doesn't deserve it, I don't know if Kramer's saying this, but if people say, oh, he doesn't deserve it because he's not going to do that running, he's not going to be that running back that he was. Guess what? Deebo Samuel would have been, top 1, if not top 2 in the league in terms of receiving yards if he didn't go switch at running back. So don't act like he can't play wide receiver. I always say it's okay to have, in a deck of cards, there's 4 different aces. It's okay to have 4 different type of receivers that are wide receiver ones across the NFL. One of them I list as Cooper Kupp. He's one of your ace cards. 2, I list as Tyreek Hill. He's one of your ace cards. And I say one of your ace cards because nobody is better than Cooper Kupp at what Cooper Kupp does. Nobody is better than Tyreek Hill at what Tyreek Hill does. Another one is, Deebo Samuel. He's in there as well. Nobody is better than Deebo Samuel at what Deebo Samuel does. Running a slant route, running a dig route, catching it over the middle, and then breaking 3 tackles and then taking it to the house, or catching a screen pass and taking it to the house, a tunnel screen. They're still going to do tunnel screens. I mean, that's not a running back position. So it's like, and then a 4th one would be what? Healthy DeAndre Hopkins, you would figure. Or no, not Hopkins. Devontae Adams. He would be my 4th ace. Nobody is better than Devontae Adams at what Devontae Adams does. Those are my 4 aces. So to say Deebo Samuel doesn't deserve to get paid top receiver money, well, guess what? In terms of what he does, there's no one better than him in the league. Nobody. Yeah. So sure, he deserves to get paid.
Fun show. I did a lot of yelling here at the end, and
you're gonna get a sore throat all over again. Come on now.
Yep. Here we go. That has nothing to do with COVID either.
It's funny because Canham said, who was throwing to him? Sorry, couldn't help myself. Okay, I'll tell you this. How many receiving touchdowns did Deebo Samuel have on the year?
I don't know. How many?
6?
Did he? Only 6?
3 came from Trey Lance.
Really?
3 came from Trey Lance.
That's interesting.
So how many more games did Jimmy play than Trey? And he had the same equal
that's suspicious
percentage.
That's weird.
I'm just saying. You made the point, though. All right. Well, I appreciate all of you guys. Any last comments here before we get out? We're running at $1:20 here.
No. Thank you, Steph, for joining and allowing me to yell. I'm sorry. Appreciate man. Like even I'm gonna watch this back and be like, damn, why is that guy yelling like
watch
that?
The tape. Watch the tape.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch the tape on this, and I'm gonna be like, damn, man, that guy, he really needs to chill out, man. Sometimes, but it's just I get upset like when people tell like professional football players how they should be acting when they only have a certain window. Like someone will look you dead in your face and tell you 5 years is a successful NFL season, and that's typical for the average football player. So you're mad at someone for trying to make money off a historical season, not a season that he did pretty well, and a historical season. So, but Steph, I appreciate you, and Leo, appreciate you as always too, man. These are always fun. Apparently, people are looking forward to Zaddy Ball. This is like something that we need to like keep going. But I blame Leo more than anything if it doesn't happen. Oops, sorry.
Oops.
Yeah, Leo is always trying to flake on us, just so you guys know.
That was just a bus that ran over me. My bad.
You just caught. Yeah, and that's not a stray. That's like me walking by, like Ricky, like that. That's that.
Okay, so I didn't catch a stray. I caught a zaddy. Got it. Hey, yo, go 49ers.